The Last of Us Season 2 is set to premiere next month, and today I'm going to be talking about a very controversial topic, and that is the casting of The Last of Us, particularly the casting of Ellie. Now, right off the bat, I know this is going to be a very controversial video with a lot of controversial opinions, but at the end of the day, they are my opinions. So, comment section's open, have at it. And if you enjoyed this video, whether you agree or disagree, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, stay up to date with the latest videos just like this. So when The Last of Us show was being created, they actually ended up doing the casting and auditions through Zoom because of COVID-19, and they were originally going to do a movie for The Last of Us, but decided to go with the show instead. And thus, the cast for the show was chosen. Now, before I get into this, I have a question for everyone watching this. Let me know your answer below. And the question is, does the look of an actor matter when it comes to casting a character for an adaptation? A lot of people are divided on this, and my answer to that question is yes, it does. And for me, the actor who's going to be portraying a character should, at the bare minimum, resemble the original character. Now, this is not the case when it comes to books. I could definitely see descriptions being only so much, and of course, it's not going to look exactly because there's no actual visuals unless there's some kind of book cover or an actual drawing from the author. But regardless, when it comes to actual books, it is really strictly up to the people creating it. But in this case, we do have a video game to go off of, so if they're going to adapt this, and this goes for comic books, this goes for older TV shows maybe being readapted and stuff like that, and just anything in that realm where we have an actual visual to work with, when it comes to that, we have an actual tangible idea of what the character is supposed to look like. Am I expecting them to look exactly like the character? No, but I am expecting them to resemble them somewhat. So that brings us to Bella Ramsey casted as Ellie. Now, before I jump really into this, I'm just going to preface this by saying that I think that Bella Ramsey is a good actor. I think that she acts very well in the show, and she captured, in terms of her acting, she did capture the witty yet innocent vibe that Ellie gives off in the video game. So she did accurately portray that, but my problem is that she looks so different from Ellie, from everything from her physique to how her face looks. This is no hate whatsoever. I'm just looking at this as an accuracy standpoint. So I'm not here to criticize how an actress looks or here to criticize somebody's looks at all. I'm just saying in terms of her facial features and everything, she doesn't look like Ellie at all. And you're probably wondering, why is that a big deal if she did a great job at the role? Because as we're approaching the second season, there is a look and an actual elevated level of Ellie in the second game as things transpire. There really is this fierce, so you can see it on the cover, I'm showing it right now, this fierce rage that Ellie gives off that I don't think that Bella Ramsey is going to be able to. She looks too young and innocent to be able to actually portray that, and it definitely comes to a look thing, because this is not so much the acting aspect of it, this is also how a character looks, how an actor looks. So take a look at this clip at the very end of the Season 2 trailer.
You swore.
So to me, this is a good example of what I'm talking about. So in this stage in the game, she's a little older. She's supposed to be a little older in the second one, and a little more fierce and mature in the way she carries herself and the way she looks. And Bella Ramsey's delivery in this is not bad, but it's just the overall look and portrayal of Ellie from the game is not translating that well to screen. To me, at least. Again, I'll reiterate this over and over again. I think that she does a good job as Ellie, but I'm just saying that at the end of the day, I feel like there were better casting choices that not only match the level of acting that Bella Ramsey brings to the table, which she does, again for the 100th time, but we're kidding ourselves if we're saying that Bella Ramsey was the one and only person that could have played this role and done it the way she did. To me, there's better options, and this, again, is not to bring anybody down or to look at that and say, oh, Bella Ramsey, just because the way she looked, she shouldn't have gotten this role or she shouldn't be playing this character. By all means, she did a great job as her, and I am interested in seeing how she does in the second one. But here are a few actors that I feel that looked way more like Ellie from the video game and also have the acting chops, in my opinion, to also portray a good Ellie. Some cases maybe, some cases not, and this is not to say that they would do a great job either. Some of the people people I'm about to name may not have portrayed Ellie in a better way. So I'm not saying that either, but these are just some people that I feel, from knowing from their body of work and the way they look, that they would have been better casting, in my opinion. So first off, Kaitlyn Dever. So she's actually playing Abby in the show in season 2. But fun fact is that they were actually going to give Kaitlyn Dever the role of Ellie. She was actually in line to beat Ellie. But the thing is that they saw that she aged out of sort of the range that Ellie was. I guess they were thinking that she wasn't young enough anymore to play the role, so it ended up going to Bella Ramsey. So personally, I think Kaitlyn Dever has the acting chops. I'm not sure if she would have that fierceness either that I'm talking about, that Ellie has in The Last of Us game, part 2 at least. But as far as the look goes, I definitely see her looking exactly like her. And in terms of her being all witty and maybe having a little attitude, especially in the first game, towards Joel and that chemistry, I think that she would be good at that as well. Next, I think Cailee Spaeny would also be an incredibly good choice as well. Cailee Spaeny looks exactly like Ellie, and I think that she's young enough looking, at least, to be able to play the role, and also in the second one as well. First part 1 and part 2, I feel like Cailee Spaeny, she's a little older in the sense that she's not really like a teen like Ellie is in the game, but she has that young look to her as well. Plus, like I said, she has the acting chops. She's in Civil War, she's in Alien Romulus, she's in a couple of shows as well. I've seen her around, and I think that she's been able to do sort of that horror element as well, along with being that survivor type, especially in Alien Romulus too. I was seeing that and I was thinking, yeah, she would definitely fit in this sort of zombie infected world, So I think Cailee Spaeny would have been a fantastic choice for her. A lot of people were saying Sophie Thatcher. I think look-wise would be a great choice for her as well, although she is a little older looking in terms of what we're trying to convey with the younger Ellie, obviously. I feel like Sophie Thatcher is a tad too older looking. She looks more like she's in her 20s, like late 20s, So, but definitely has the facial look of her, definitely. But this is like the opposite though. I feel like Sophie Thatcher, I'm not sure if she'd be able to pull off like the wittiness and the sort of rebellious teen attitude that Ellie kind of portrays in the first one. But I can 100% see Sophie Thatcher doing that fierce and rage-filled and just emotional performance, because she's great in Heretic and other movies like that. So I can definitely see that from her as well. And then the last one is Maisie Williams. So Ashley Johnson, who voices Ellie in the games, this was her number 1 pick. This is who she thought should play Ellie in the game as the voice actor, and that is Maisie Williams, which is most notably known for her role in Game of Thrones, and she agreed. She said that she was all for it. If it came to that, she'd love to. That is what sources say. So Maisie Williams, I don't think she looks too much like Ellie in my opinion either, so I don't know if that would be the best choice. But in the same kind of vein as Bella Ramsey though, even though Maisie Williams doesn't look like Ellie at all, I do feel like she would definitely be able to pull off a pretty decent Ellie as well. I'm only mentioning this one not as my personal choice, but because she was being mentioned, and also she was Ashley Johnson's first choice to play Ellie. So that's why I'm mentioning her here, but just something to sort of keep in mind and throw out if we're talking about who could take on the role of Ellie. So bottom line for Ellie, at least with Bella Ramsey, good actor. Again, if you take anything away, it's that I think that she's a good actor and she acts good as Ellie, and she does have that wide range of emotions. She does have that sort of sassiness to her, if you will. So portrayal wise, not bad. But do I think that she is the ultimate choice for Ellie? No. I think that the aforementioned people would have been better picks, and they not only are at the same level of acting as Bella Ramsey, but look more like Ellie in the game. And like I said, we have a video game to go off of. We know exactly what Ellie looks like. This is not from a book. We're not putting together the pieces off a description. We literally have pictures of what she looks like. So yeah, there's that. And it's also a voice thing as well, because some of these actresses might not have the voice for it either. I think Bella Ramsey has the voice in terms of how Ellie sounds in the game. So there's that as well. But again, that's not to say any of the actors I just named would be able to pull off the voice either. And then next we have the second main lead, Joel. So as you know, Joel is the second main character in the game. He's in both games, and he's played by Pedro Pascal. So he also doesn't completely look like Joel, but I'd say that he somewhat resembles him. He definitely has that kind of grittiness to him as well. And what's different between him and Bella Ramsey is that Joel is this very straight edge, no funny business, gritty type protagonist. And I think that Pedro Pascal does have that look, that grittiness, that look that he's absolutely given up on the world, but he's still moving forward. That kind of look. He has that. That's the best way I can kind of describe it in the character as well for what he goes through. You know, I don't want to spoil anything, but if you've seen the first season, you know what happens to him in the first season. But yeah, what he goes through, you know, with his daughter and everything. It's just one of those things that he's able to kind of portray that in his role. So I think he does a good job as well. I will also add that him and Bella Ramsey have very good chemistry together. I think that the two really work hand in hand and in tangent with each other, and they have that sort of father-daughter kind of chemistry that they have in the game. Obviously, Ellie and Joel are not father-daughter, but, you know, obviously it is that kind of relationship. But fun fact about his role is that Hugh Jackman was actually rumored to have been considered for the role beforehand, at least for the movie version of The Last of Us. Obviously, they ended up not doing a movie on it, so Hugh Jackman, I think, just dropped out of that. I don't think he does much shows and stuff, so that kind of like changed the whole dynamic of who they could cast and who they couldn't, because a lot of actors like doing movies over TV shows, so that was out there, but I could definitely see Hugh Jackman playing him, even though I would say the same thing. I don't think that Hugh Jackman fully looked like Joel either. So with those two characters in mind, I will once again reiterate the same question I did at the beginning. Does the look of an actor matter that much when casting a character? You have my answer. Now let me hear yours below. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate all the support, and I'll catch you on the next video.